This is part 2 of the video from servers and service, and we will continue in our studies on ponder on this in the book from Alice Bailey with Master Djwhal Khul. And as we learned, service is trying to understand the greater plan, being willing to develop your character, your intuition, and the understanding of a strong internal character to do what is required from a server to be of a highest and purest vehicle to serve without the self-inflation, without the self-ambition, but just a loving heart to serve. And our next study follows from page 552. Next follows, so it's about the server, what is required. Next follows a wise control of the physical vehicle. A good server causes the master no anxiety from physical causes and may be trusted to guard and husband his physical strength, that he is always available for the carrying out of the master's request. He does not fail from physical disability. He sees that his lower vehicle gets sufficient rest and adequate sleep. He rises early and retires at seemingly hour. He relaxes whenever possible. He eats wholesome and suitable food and remains from heavy eating. A little food well chosen and well masticated is far better than a heavy meal. The human race eats these days a rule 4 times as much as is required. He ceases from work when his body reacts against action and cries out for attention. He then seeks rest, sleep, dietary precaution, and necessary medication attention. He obeys all wise instruction, giving time for his recovery. The next step is steady care and control of the emotional body. This is the most difficult of the vehicles to tend, as it is well known, no excessive emotion is permitted. True strong current of love for all that breathe are allowed to sweep through. Love, being the law of the system, is constructive and stabilizing and carries all on in line with the law. No fear or worry or care shake the emotional body of the aspiring servant of all. He cultivates sincerity, stability, and a sense of secure dependence on God's law. A joyous confidence characterizes his habitual attitude. He harbors no jealousy, no cloudy gray depression, and no greed or self-pity, but realizing that all men are brothers and that all that exists is for all. He proceeds calmly on his way. So it's the state of love that can dissipate fear or worry, and it's in the law and line with the will of God. Then ensures the development of mental vehicle in control of the emotional body. The server takes the attitude of elimination. His aim is to train the emotional body that it becomes devoid of color and has a still vibration and is clear and white, limpid as a pool on a summer day. In Fitting the mental body for service, the worker strives at the opposite of elimination. He seeks to build information, to supply knowledge and facts, to train it intellectually and scientifically, so that it may provide, as time goes on, a stable foundation for the divine wisdom. Wisdom supersedes knowledge, yet requires knowledge as preliminary step. You must remember that the server passes through the hall of learning prior to entering the hall of wisdom. In training the mind body, he seeks therefore orderly acquisition of knowledge, a supply of that which may be lacking, and sequential grasp of the innate mental faculty accumulated in previous lives, and lastly a steadily of the lower mind, so that the higher may dominate, and the creative faculty of thought may be projected through stillness. The negative stillness of the emotional body makes it receptive to impression from above. The positive stillness of mental body learns to the higher inspiration. So there needs to be some stillness within your mental body, that your brain and your being can register any inspiration that is dropping in from your higher soul, dropping in through your intuitive faculties. It's the stillness. Emotions are calm and the mental sphere is calm, to have a certain receptiveness for the inspiration to drop in. So that's, my friend, to ponder on and to take in your day today, to observe your emotion, your mental attitude, and to develop slowly and steadily the quietness of those. Having sought to control and wisely use his personality in its three departments, the lover of humanity seeks perfection in action. No magnificent. The lover seeks perfection in action. How many times did you postpone or didn't perform a task you felt was required, and it was the lower personality of the perfectionism which was a hindrance? No magnificent dream and martyrdom and the glorious yet ephemeral chimeras of spectacular service engross his attention, but the instant application of all his powers to the next duty is the line of his endeavor. He knows that perfection in the foreground of his life and in the details of his work will cause accuracy in the background too, and result in whole picture or rare beauty. Life progresses by small steps, but each step taken at the right time and each moment wisely occupied leads to long distance covered. So it's great to reflect on that, because often if we are guided by our intellect, we want to know the whole picture, the plan. But when you're guided by your soul, by your intuition, it's often like more in the unknown, because you will be given the one step the one next thing to do, without necessarily seeing the whole picture. And indeed, so mostly you don't see the whole picture. It requires you the faith and trust in that next step and in your inner guiding system, that when it says do that, you're following that inspiration to do without any seeing the outcome. So it's not walking with the faith and to progress step by step. Those who guide the human family test out all applicants for service in the small details of everyday life, and he who sheds a record of faithful action is apparently non-essential, will be moved into a sphere of greater moment. How in emergency or crisis can they depend on someone who in everyday matters does slowly and ill-injured work? Slowly and so it requires to build your inner character, to be of greater service. A further method of service sheds itself in adaptability. This involves a readiness to retire when other or more important people are sent to fill the niche he may be occupying, or inversely an ability to step out of office into work of greater importance, when some less opened work can do his work with equal faculty and good judgment. It is the part of wisdom in all who serve neither to rate themselves too highly nor to underestimate themselves. Bad work results when the non-efficient fill a post, but it is equally a loss of time and power when skilled workers hold a position where their skill has not full scope and where less well-equipped men and women should do as well. Be ready, therefore, all ye who serves, to stay a lifetime in office, non-spectacular and seemingly unimportant, for such may be your destiny and the place your best may serve, but equally ready to step on the work of more apparent value when the Master's word goes forth and when circumstances and not the server's planning indicate that the time is come. Ponder on this. So maybe you can relate to having a certain desire in your heart to serve, but it's like the time comes to do that when you're ready. The time may not be before. The time before was the preparation, and God's timing is just perfect. It's precise, and there are no mistakes. Like, I can only talk from my own experience, having the desire to serve for so many years, but my character wasn't developed. I had to go out to the world, to live in a different country, to learn the spiritual teaching and to build the strength within, to even have the capacity to speak in front of a camera. And it took me 7 years to kind of build that cycle, and this month it's the 7 years of my return to my home country, where my soul within feels ready to do what it's being called to do in the next step. I don't know the whole picture. I only trust the next step. So if something of that resonates within you, trust your time. the master's timing, because it can create so much suffering to really wanting to do something, feeling bad about yourself because you're not doing it, but maybe it's just the preparation phase for the next step. So, and we continue. Third, the attitude following action. What should this attitude be? Under dissipation, under self-forgetfulness, and under occupation with the next step to be taken. The perfect server is he who does the utmost of his ability, what he believes to be the master's will, and the work to be done by him in cooperation with God's plan. Then, having done his part, he passes on to continuance of the work and cares not for the result of his action. He knows that wiser eyes, that his eyes, the end from the beginning, that insight, deeper and more loving than his, is waiting upon the fruit of service, and that judgment, more profound than his, is testing the force and extent of the vibration set up, and is adjusting that force according to the motive. So it's the intention from the heart and attitude to follow through action, and constantly question your motive. Get back to, is that from a pure motive? He does not suffer from pride or what he has done, nor from undue depression over lack of accomplishment. At all time he does his very best, wastes not time in backward contemplation, but steadily presses forward to the accomplishment of the next duty, brooding over past deeds and casting the mind back over all the achievement is the nature of involuntation, and the servant seeks to work with the law of evolution. All right, and now I'm seeing that video is already so long, so we will break it into a third one, in a third part of service. And maybe whatever you take with you is getting the control of the physical, control of the emotional and mental vehicle. Trying to develop steadiness, calm emotion, and a stillness of mind, so the inspiration can come true for you. And then developing an attitude of action to be able to follow out the steps, and the intellect may has a picture and a plan, but intuition, your inner knowing, leads step by step. So with that, take from it whatever you hear and apply it to your own life, and reflect how does that bring any value in your life. Let me know in the comments, and take care.